Hello everybody, Pipe Man 1861 here. Well, I'm home after a pretty good first day of the new job. Everything went real well. As far as I can tell, everybody there is pretty like-minded to me. I'm not going to dig down too deep into that, but no, I'm pretty satisfied so far. Of course, just the first day, you can't tell too much, but so far so good. I'll keep you all updated. Anyway, tonight, down here in the workshop, I decided to light up my old Fell-Bolin kerosene mantle lamp. I'll, after I get the workbench built behind me, I have a better table to show everybody something. I'll show it to you. It was made about 1907. That's another collecting venture I've had over the years. I collected, and still do to extent, antique lighting, like kerosene lamps, gasoline lamps, burning fluid lamps all throughout the 1800s, but this is a neat one. It's nice and bright. It was a precursor to the Aladdin lamp, but I'm not going to get in all that right now. Tonight I'm smoking some seersucker from the Country Squire. I tell you, I really swear by the Country Squire blends. They burn real smooth and cool, and they taste delicious. My Old Toby, well, it's called something else now, but Old Toby, well, it was Old Toby, is about my favorite. I love that. It's really sweet. It's like smoking a sugar cookie. I love that stuff. And I'm smoking it. But anyway, seersucker, real quick. Seersucker, I believe, is a peach, like a peach cobbler, peach preserve taste. Yeah, it's really good. It smells like a peach cobbler when you open up the jar. And I'm smoking it. Since I have the lamp on in front of me, you can actually see maybe. This is an old CPF pipe. You can see it has the, I don't know if you can see it or not, it has the round orific bit. It's kind of hard to, there it is right there. You can see it just has a round hole in the end of the stem. And the strange thing is, it's a system pipe. It had, just like Peterson's, a military mount, has a very shallow little well right here. Hello, Ginger. Cat decided to join us. Anyway, hi. It was a basket case whenever I got it. I paid $5 for this on eBay plus $5 shipping, so I think I got it for $10 total. There is a big chunk out of there, and you can just barely see where it was there, where the light's shining. I was able to kind of dovetail in a new piece of briar and glue it in place and polish it up. You can barely see it. There was no nickel plating left on the band. I replated it. And somebody had tried to rebend this stem at one point. It had straightened out over the years. Old Vulcanite does it. Hello, Genji. Good seeing you. And there's a big, but they overheated it. There's a big burn spot, real deep burn right here on the underside of the stem. So after a lot of sanding, I was able to get past it and didn't change the shape of the stem too bad. And the bowl was in pretty good shape other than the big chunk of briar missing from it, so I fixed that. And I polished it up and restained it and polished it with some carnauba wax, a lot of carnauba wax. It turned out pretty nice. It's a really pretty pipe. It smokes really well too. It smells just as well as a lot of Petersons. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've smoked one Peterson. I've heard a lot of people had trouble with them. There's nary a gurgle from this pipe. It smokes beautifully. For a cheaper pipe, which this was, it does real well. Hey, Genji, come on up. Real quick, everybody. This is one of our cats. Go on, cooperate. This is one of our cats. Her name's Ginger. She hates being held. Okay, Ginger, here you go. Sorry about that. Anyway, tonight's video, I'm going to briefly get into why I started pipe smoking. Because I've seen some other fellas do that, and figured, by George, I'll give her a shot. First, let me give you the circumstances of when I started pipe smoking. I was sitting at the national reenactment that year. It was 2019, no, I'm sorry, 2021. The national reenactment at Perryville, Kentucky in 2021. And we were sitting under a tent fly there. I was civilian that weekend, as I have been for the past couple of years. Marriage has a tendency to take out of your system the desire to lay on the hard ground and march around and take orders, you know. I'm not saying anything, but sitting on the hard ground especially. I kind of like to be comfortable in a nice warm bed with my wife. Thank you very much. I don't want to be sleeping in a dog tent with one other guy who hadn't been showered in 3 days. It's not the most pleasant thing in the world. Not to say I won't do more military, but that I'm getting off on a tangent. So I was out there with my wife, and there were a couple of friends of ours were there too, right next to us. And his name, Scott, is his name. He smoked a pipe at reenactments, and since then he started doing it a little bit outside of that too, which I think's nice. Anyway, so we were sitting there, and Scott broke out his beautiful meerschaum pipe and his pipe tobacco. It was a cherry blend of some sort. I had never smoked a pipe before. I had a clay pipe, one of those little Pamplin style reed stem clay pipes that I had bought for the historical accuracy of it. I'd never smoked it. But I was watching, I was like, I always wanted to try to do that. So I asked him. First I leaned over to my wife and said, hey, do you mind if I try smoking a pipe? She said, oh sure, I don't mind. I have a wonderful wife. And so I asked Scott, and I said, hey, would you mind if I borrowed a little pinch of that tobacco of yours? And she said, sure, go ahead. So I took some tobacco and I packed that little pipe very badly. Of course, in hindsight, I packed it way too tight. It was kind of windy that evening. Of course, we were out in the open, and wind was blowing pretty good, and all I had were matches, so I had to work at getting it lit. I did understand the principle of tamping, but I didn't have a tamper, so I was using my finger very gingerly, you know. So I got it lit, but I didn't want to have to light any more matches, so I was puffing on that thing to try to keep it lit. Burned the crap out of my mouth. Excuse my French. This is really good stuff. But anyway, so that was my first experience pipe smoking. Then after that I was like, that was terrible, but for some odd reason I want to keep trying it. So I got on pipesandscigars.com, and I ordered up, it was the Brigadier Black series of pipe tobacco, the ones were named after Civil War battles, Antietam and Bull Run, Gettysburg. They were running a sale on the pouches, so I ordered, of course I like the name of it, you know. Ordered up a pouch of each of the Civil War series. Hi, Ginger's being feisty. So, got those. I also got a little bit of tobacco for Scott to give to him, so I didn't feel like such a freeloader. And I started smoking at events. Now this time we lived in an apartment. It was me and my wife lived in an apartment. And obviously when you're renting from somebody, you don't want to be smoking. And I started smoking in the fall. You didn't really do it outside of reenacting for several months. And even when I did, it was very seldom. Because we were at an apartment, we didn't want people to get the wrong idea I might be smoking in there. So anyway, so I went out in the backyard on a rare occasion to smoke my pipe, or me and my wife would go on a walk and I'd smoke. It was probably maybe once, maybe twice a month. Well then, we moved here this spring. And we own this, well, the bank owns most of the house, but as far as I'm concerned, we own this house. So I was able to, and it was in the summer, so I was able to go out and sit on the back porch and smoke my pipe after work. Or And now, of course, I can come down here and do it when the weather's bad. I don't want to do it up down here too much because I don't want any odor to seep in, because eventually we'll probably want to sell this place, but maybe it shouldn't be as bad as long as I keep the fan running. But so anyway, that's how I started out pipe smoking. And I grew up, we still go to a Baptist church. I won't get into all of that, but about who's right and who's wrong, I don't like those kind of conversations because they don't lead anywhere. But we go to a Baptist church. And of course, if you know anything about Baptist churches, they by and large, I don't think I've ever seen one that doesn't say that tobacco's wrong. I grew up in a Baptist church, and I grew up being taught that smoking of any kind was wrong. Well, whenever I grew up, and of course I did a lot of thinking and praying on the matter, reading the Bible, because I don't want to be doing something the Lord doesn't want me to do. I want to be a good testimony to other folks. So, big old cloud there. I did a lot of studying and praying, see whether the Lord would be all right with me smoking. And I came to the conclusion through what I read, as long as I never got addicted to it, didn't do it enough to form a habit of it, and as long as I didn't do it so much that it became an unreasonable health risk, I don't think the Lord has a problem with it. There's nowhere in the Bible, of course, smoking wasn't known in the Bible times, in that when the Bible was written, so of course it wouldn't be in there. But I mean, you can argue all you want that it's right and wrong, but that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, and I respect everybody else's opinion, of course, but at least for me, that's the stand I'll take. So, why I started pipe smoking, for one thing, I just thought it looked neat, but it appealed to my love of history and tradition. Because I love history, of course, I think you all have figured that out by now, being in this historical reenacting, collecting all this old junk. But that's why I got into reenacting, and pipe smoking. It was kind of and also a lot of reenactors smoke a pipe. You'd be amazed at how many reenactors also smoke a pipe. It just it's a natural, it's just another natural step in your period impression. A lot of guys smoke cigars. I never have cared much for cigars. To me, they smell kind of like nausea. A little too strong for my taste. I smoke one on a very rare occasion, but by and large, I'm a pipe guy. But that's why I smoke a pipe. I like the way, I enjoy the act of doing it. I enjoy the history behind it. I enjoy that a lot of my forebears would have smoked a pipe, and I don't know, kind of makes me feel connected to the past. I guess that's the best way I can put it. It makes me feel connected with the past. And the past, in my opinion, is in a lot of ways worse, but in a lot of ways also better than where we are now. That maybe I'm a romantic, I don't know. Anyway, that's why I started smoking a pipe, and that's why I'm going to keep smoking a pipe. And I would love to hear how you all got started in pipe smoking, if you can put it down in the comments if you have time. Because I know for some of you that'll be a lot of typing. Anyway, folks, I thank you so much for stopping by. This is Pipe Man 1861 signing off, saying have a great evening, and I hope to see you all again real soon. Take care now. Bye.